Hello everyone, I'm here with my video of my December daily cover. So I'm just showing you here the cover of my album. It is the Heidi Swapp and Becky Higgins Project Life album, and it holds 8x8 page inserts. So this is just a piece of Recollections white cardstock that I've cut to 8.5 by 8, and then I put it on my Cricut mat and I just cut out that silhouette of the Christmas tree with the star. Now I'm using some Mr. Huey's Audrey and I'm just splattering that on the white paper just so the paper isn't so stark and white. And then I'm going to just dry it quickly with my heat tool because I also got it on that Stampin' Up! Grid paper that I'm working on. And so I also got the splatter on there, and actually I'm going to do some embossing and use embossing powder. So I just didn't want the embossing powder to stick to the wet spray on my grid paper. So I'm just having a look, making sure that I think it's all dry, and it looked like it was. So now I'm bringing in these stamp sets. This is from Stampin' Up! And it's ornaments, and I'm just showing you the ones I'm going to use. I'm going to use a big one and two small ones. And I can't remember what the set is called. It's called Ornament Keepsakes. It's probably from 2011, 2012. It's pretty old, but I really like it. The ornaments are so detailed. It's actually it's quite pretty. And then I'm going to use my embossing buddy. I don't know what you really call these. I know you can buy them at Michael's, but I don't know what they're called. But a few years ago, I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. At least I tried to be. Did not go so well. So a lot of my stuff that I'm going to start off using here is actually Stampin' Up! So I'm getting out my Versamark ink pad, and I'm using the big ornament here. And I'm inking that up with the Versamark. And I'm going to stamp that one on the red. And again, these are just Recollections cardstocks as well. I'm pretty sure that all the cardstock, that I use is all Recollections. And then I'm going to stamp the two smaller ones on the gray cardstock. And then I'm going to bring in some Recollections white embossing powder. It's actually called Snow, is the color of it. So I'm just going to put on the red cardstock first, and then shake it around, and then I'm just going to put that down onto the gray. And do the same thing. And then I'm just going to put the excess back in the pot, give it a little tap off, and bring in my heat gun. And I'm just going to set that with my heat tool. And I just love how white this is. And it shows up so nicely on the red. The gray you can't really tell on the video, but on the album you can see all the little details that was in those two stamps. It's quite beautiful. And then they also came with a bundle that year that I bought these ornaments with framelits. So I'm then going to just put the framelits on. There they are. And then I'm just going to tape them into place so that my border is even, or as even as I can make it, the whole way around the ornaments. So I'm just going to tape those down, and then I'm just going to go over to my Big Shot and I'm going to cut them out. I'm just using some white thin Recollections washi tape here to tape my framelits on. So in just a second I'm going to go over to the Big Shot. That's what I have, and I'm just going to cut them out. So now I'm back. I've cut them all out. I'm just going to take them all out of the cardstock. I'm just throwing the tape away and stuff here. That's what I'm just doing in between. And there we go. Just take them out of the framelits. And perfect. Those are done. And then I'm going to bring back in my white paper with the silhouette of the tree cut out. There we go. And then I'm just going to place the ornaments how I think I would like them on the cover. Oh, I actually change it. So I actually changed the round one and the I call that the light bulb shaped one. And I'm using two markers here. One is a silver gel pen, and one was a marker. It is a, what's this called? Memory marker by American Crafts. And they're both in gray, and I was just deciding which one I wanted to go with. But as you can see here, I've decided to go with the silver gel pen. And I'm just marking little marks above the ornaments, and then I'm bringing in my ruler. I'm just going to make straight lines down. So it looks like they're hanging on a little silver string. There we go. And then I'm just going to, I've decided that anything that's going on my cover that I don't want to lift up, I'm going to use the double-sided red line tape. It's actually sticky strip from Stampin' Up, which I've heard, I think, that they no longer make, which surprises me because this stuff is great. It sticks on and grabs on and it doesn't let go. So I'm just putting them all on the back of every ornament here. I realized with the first one I didn't make sure that it was right to the top, where I guess you would call it the ornament hanger is. So now what I'm doing instead is I'm cutting strips and sticking it on. Instead of putting it onto the ornament and then cutting it, I'm cutting them first, just so I can make sure that I try to cover as much of the ornament as I can with the red line tape. I really enjoyed making this cover, and I really do like how it's turned out. I think I'm really going to enjoy doing December Daily this year. If you watched my video of products I'm going to use, I've never done this before, so I'm actually quite excited. It'll give me an excuse to craft every day. And I miss that. I miss crafting every day, so this I think will really get me to do it every day. So I'm just peeling off the back of that red line tape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Scotch Quick Dry. And all of the pieces that I've missed with the red line tape, I'm going to put some Scotch Quick Dry on. Now look what I do here. I drop it. And it actually did rip up some of the white paper, but I was so lucky that it's in a spot where the round ornament is going to go. And that's why I decided to go with the round ornament there, is because I actually did rip up some of that white paper, and this one was big enough to cover my mistake in what I had done. So again, just peel off the back of the ornament. I'm going to stick it down. Some more Scotch Quick Dry in the places that I missed. And there we go. And I'm just going to do the last ornament up in the top. The back of that red line tape is so staticky. It just sticks right to your fingers, and it's hard to get off. So that's what I was struggling with off of camera there, was trying to get the little red backing paper off of my fingers. And there we go. There's my ornaments on. And then, what do I do next? I'm trying to think. Oh, I'm going to turn it over, I believe. Let's see here. I'm trying to decide how I'm going to stick this to the cover. There we go. And I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the red line tape all along the edges, which is what I'm doing here. And then I also put some across the page, because I am sticking this to a glitter album, and I thought to myself, how am I going to get this to stick on there? and not lift up. So I thought the red line tape would make do for that, but then I realized the tree has all these tiny little, I guess you'd call them jagged edges. And I thought, how am I going to get those to stick out? I can't put red line tape all around the tree. It would be way too difficult and way too time consuming. So what I decided to do was I decided to peel off all the backing of the red line tape, and then I'm going to use a Scotch quick dry around the tree. So I thought I better peel off the backing first, because if I leave it too long, by the time I stick it onto the front of the album, the Scotch quick dry would be dry, and then the tree wouldn't stick around its edges at all. So there's the last piece of the red line tape backing, and then I'll bring in my Scotch quick dry, and there we go. I'll glue it all around the edges of the tree. And then I'm just using my finger because I didn't want it to ooze out from underneath the tree when I put on the cover. So I just used my finger to kind of press down. And then I got quick dry on my grid paper. So I've just stuck that piece of grade cardstock onto the grid paper so I didn't get glue on the back of my album. Now I'm making sure that I have this all lined up. And I'm sticking it down. And I'm not pressing too hard just yet to begin with, because right there I had it, it was warped a little bit. So there, I fixed that, and now I'm just holding my hand there, and then I get a clear plastic block to press down that tree. And I just press it down the rest of the way with my hand. And I'm pretty happy with that. It's stuck down nicely. And then I'm going to bring in this red ribbon. I am pretty sure this red ribbon was from a box of chocolates or a gift that I got one year. But it's such a beautiful red, and I love the way it goes with the teal cover. And then my next dilemma was, how am I going to stick this down? So what I decided to do is I open up the album. Oh, no, what I'm doing there is I'm marking it with a marker as to where I need the edge to be to go around. So I'm going to open up the album, and I'm going to put on the back of that ribbon a piece of the red sticky strip. I'm just trimming it a little there. And what I actually end up doing was, there's two sides to the ribbon. There's a shiny side, and then there's a bit of a duller side. And I wanted the duller side to be the side that you see, because the shiny side against the glitter was just a bit too much. So I actually start off by putting the red tape on the wrong side, and then what I have to do is I just peel it off and I stick it to the right side. I've just realized it there, and I'm just fixing my mistake. There we go. And then I'll peel the backing off. There we go. I'm just going to stick it down to the inside edge of the cover. I'm sorry that this is off camera. And there we go. I'm lining it up with the front. And then I'm actually going to put the sticky strip on the glitter part of the album instead of the ribbon, because I want to be able to pull the ribbon tight and make sure it's stuck down just how I want it. And I want the ribbon to end at the inside edge of the album, because then what I've done, and I did this off camera, is I took sticky strip and I lined the whole inside edges of the album, and then I stuck washi tape down on the inside. So you'll see that in my next video, what I've done with the inside, so that you can't see the edges of this ribbon on the inside. So I'm just making sure it's all lined up how I'd like it at the front. And I just tuck that ribbon down inside. And then I'm just deciding how I want my letters to be, because I know on the front I want to put December 2015. So I'm just probably looking through my letter stickers here. And oh no, sorry, I was off getting a piece of parchment paper. That's what I was doing. And then I'm going to use these stickers that I just bought at Michael's last week for my title. And I'm just going to put December up there. So I'm just sticking down all the letters. I'm not doing this neatly. I just want to see if I can fit the word December across the top of my page. These are foam stickers. They're actually quite nice. And in the bottom corner, I'm doing the 2015. Sorry, you can't see this. It's off camera again. There we go. I moved it up. And then I decide, I don't know if I like it so straight across. So let's see if I could do December in an arc. So I start doing it, and then I realize the word is too long, and I wouldn't have enough room. So I decide to go just with the straight across December across the top. So then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. Put my letters down. I better make sure I do this straight. So I turn the album so I can see it better. And I bring in a ruler that I fling across my album there. And then I start putting the letters on. And then I think I'm doing a good job. I'm at a funny angle the way I'm doing this. So I think everything's going along great, and I'm sticking them down. And then, oh, I was fussing with the M there, trying to make it straight. Just get the R here. And then when I stand the album up and I look at it, my letters were all wonky. I hadn't done a good job at all. So I stand up and I look at it and I was like, oh, this will not do. So I start peeling them off and realigning them with the album standing up so that I could see what it would look like. And this was just so I didn't have to bend over into the screen and you wouldn't be able to see what I was doing. And there we go. I think that's it. Yeah, fixed it. I liked that much better. It's still a little bit off, but it's much better than when I first did it. And then I'm just going to put my 2015 down in the bottom corner. And then I didn't like that white space between the tree and the 2015. So then I had a look in my little tray of embellishments that I had. And I thought about the Christmas trees first. So I laid down 3 of those. I didn't really like how that looked after I'd done it. I did 3 different sized trees. And I wasn't happy with that. I thought that the wood color then was just too much of a contrast with the other colors on the page. So I tried a wood veneer snowman. Didn't like him. Tried a different kind of wood veneer snowman because I thought, oh, I can color these with ink. But I didn't like him being there. And then I decided on a Santa Claus. And it looks like Santa's going to go deliver presents under the tree with just the way that he's walking. And he's got his sack on his back. And I thought he was perfect. So I just peeled the Pop Dot off the back because these came with Pop Dots